Are you a host on Airbnb or VRBO or any platform? Are you doing direct bookings? Are you a little nervous about your guest and screening process, and are you gonna get a party or any kind of troubled guest? Well, this is the right video for you if that's the case. I'm gonna be talking to a company called SuperHog. They're an extra layer of security for your rental properties. So stick around, let's jump in and find out what it's all about. So this video is going to be pretty quick anyways. It's about a company called SuperHog. So I'm always looking for ways to protect my listings as an Airbnb host. I'm sure you guys are as well. I don't want to always rely just on the Airbnb platform. Now that I'm also going to be doing direct bookings, I just need an extra security blanket, some extra eyes on it. I really want to know, are my guests who they say they are when they're booking my place? So SuperHog is the leader in the game when it comes to checking ID, making sure that the guests are who they say they are, and they just kind of have all these extra steps in place to help secure your listing. The couple questions I have for sure is, let's say a guest gets denied through SuperHog. Does that give me the right, let's say with like Airbnb, to call Airbnb or whatever and be like, hey, look, we use SuperHog, they're not verifying, I need to cancel this reservation? How does that work?
Okay, so effectively the wording for your listing description is key, because that, if the guest is supposed to be aware of the process before booking it, then it is part of the booking.
Gotcha.
And they're the ones not keeping up their end of things if a cancellation has to happen. So
okay,
that's what I'm told. There might be something about that in the partner pack, to be honest.
Yeah, that's a good idea, yeah. I mean, I'm sure all platforms like it because it's an extra security blanket for both parties.
Exactly.
Yeah. Let's say a guest rents another property that's not mine and becomes a nightmare at that guest or at that host. Does that guest get flagged in SuperHog? So if they try to book my place, it's already red flagged that, hey, this person tried. Does that make sense, what I'm saying?
So yeah, we have a flagging system, and in the bookings tab, right, where you can see all the approved, not approved, all that stuff, you don't have to worry about checking that for a bad guest that is flagged in our system. We would reach out to you in the case where we get a flagged guest, or if engaging with the guest about something wrong with their verification process, like they've just lied about their information, that kind of thing, or they're refusing to give IDs, we'd reach out to you as well and say, there's something going on here, we're not, wouldn't recommend this booking kind of thing.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's cool. The only other question I really have, in your experience, has there been friction or guests been like, I'm not doing this, or this is too complicated, or why do I have to do this if I'm doing that?
So it does very occasionally happen. Usually, it's a technical issue and we can just help them through it. We occasionally get, very occasionally get guests sort of saying, oh, I'm not sure about, data protection and all that kind of stuff.
Totally.
We're obviously in compliance with, here it's EU data protection laws, but they're uptight, so that's fine. And we, it's not in the EU anymore, but whatever. We still do it.
Yeah.
But then, to be honest, we only ever see it consistently when we have a host who hasn't updated their listing information, basically hides it, and then springs it on the guests.
Gotcha.
Or a couple of times we've had it where guests have booked properties, then a host had onboarded, and then they retroactively sort of contact the bookings that have already been made ages ago, this is an issue when it's loads of them, right? Because then we have a bunch of guests who booked ages ago and then now being asked to verify. If you reach out to guests, if you have guests who have already booked and you want to verify, it's fine. I just recommend reaching out to them first and saying, hey, I'm now working with SuperHog, and then it'll be fine.
Okay. And you guys do a pretty good job of helping explain SuperHog and putting it on the listing and better explain it. So I just got off an initial call with SuperHog to kind of walk through how everything works and get my special SuperHog link, so then I will send that out to the guests. So now I kind of want to explain what I just found out is how the guests will go through the process, how me as a host go through the process. There's a handful of steps, but it's actually really, really easy on my end, and I feel like it's super easy on the guest end. So we have a total of 5 different steps. So let me walk you through each step. step number 1, a guest confirms that they got a booking with you. Now they have a booking, let's say Airbnb, they got the booking. Now you have a message that goes out, maybe it's automatic or whatever, with a unique SuperHog ID. The guest will then click on that link and then start the process. Step number 2, guests will then click on the link and then start adding all their identification, first name, last name, email, phone number, a driver's license, and start going through that process. And it's fairly quick and easy. And then behind the scenes, SuperHog is verifying that they're putting in the right information. They verify that what they're putting in is who they say they are, and they just kind of, follow the steps and verify it through. As a host, you can actually look in your dashboard and see what steps those guests are on. Okay, then step number 3, after the guests fill out all the information, it's been verified, then the guest will sign an additional SuperHog code of conduct. That just shows that, hey, the guests have to read like a contract, make sure they're gonna be good guests, not breaking any of the rules and whatnot. And they sign that, which gives you the liability on SuperHog, a lot more protection for you as the guest and the host on the listing. So then a part of that process, behind the scenes, SuperHog then guarantees that guests are liable for any damage during the stay. Okay, step number 4, the guest will upload a driver's license, a passport or whatnot, and then a real-time selfie. That's one thing that I love. During the real time, they'll do an actual selfie, make sure it matches their ID, and then behind the scenes, SuperHog will then, with their super high-end AI software, will make sure that there's no photo manipulation or that everything seems to match up correctly. So then there's no identity spoof. Then we have step 5. It's not really a step, it's more of like behind the scenes. Guests are all verified. If everything is fine, goes through the steps, the guests are fine, then it just automatically guarantees they've been verified. You can accept the booking and move on basically. But let's say there's a hiccup and the identity and whatnot is not matching up, then SuperHog will jump in and reach out to the guests and help them through that process. Or maybe a guest isn't like that computer savvy and having a hard time with the selfie or whatnot, then SuperHog on your behalf will contact that guest and help them through the process to get 100% verified. Yeah, you guys, that's pretty much it. It's pretty easy. It's not that much setup on my end. It seems pretty seamless. Like I said, I'm gonna be updating you guys as I go and see how it goes, but I've already talked to a handful of my guests and they're actually kind of excited about this because they get extra insurance and protection on them. It protects my house. They know that I'm screening guests, so they probably think I've taken a lot better care of the house, is what I'm assuming. But so far, guests have seemed totally cool with it, not even an issue. So I'll save the link down below, SuperHog, you guys can check that out. If you have any questions, feel free to comment down below. And smash that like video. I'm always here to try to help you guys with new tools and softwares that I'm using that I think you guys should use. So if you like this kind of stuff, let me know in the comments.
Hi guys, I'm Leo from SuperHog. I want to very quickly tell you about SuperHog. So SuperHog is an industry-leading guest verification and deposit management system. What does that mean? Well, we all know the vacation rental industry is fast-moving. You take your bookings from many different sources, often at weird hours of the day when you're not necessarily there to vet and check the validity of the person who's making the inquiry. Gone are the days of phone calls and long drawn out booking processes where you get to know the guest, very well before they book. This all happens instantly. Instant book is the norm. So SuperHog comes in to help you make sure that you're not making any bad choices when it comes to guests, because we will verify your guests for you. A SuperHog verification is a picture of a ID that belongs to the guest and then a picture of themselves. That has to be done live. Those get cross-referenced to tell us that that person's ID matches the selfie that's been shown to us and it matches the name on the booking record. We then get to them to fill out some basic information. So their name, their home address, their email address, the phone number. We check those against our database to make sure that the guest is not known to us as anybody that's done something wrong in a property that would mean that the booking really shouldn't happen. Now, these tests that we do with the ID and the data clearly allows us to also say that we've seriously de-risked the idea that it might become a chargeback or a fraudulent booking. There's also an advanced screening product with SuperHog. So you've got basic screening that I just explained, and advanced screening. The advanced screening includes checks on the validity of the mobile phone, whether it's registered to them, whether it's registered to the address that they've given, registering also their email address. So does it have social media on it? Is it being actively used? Is it registered to that name, that phone number, that address? So it just allows us to really check that the details they're giving are legitimate details. Clearly, this is even more useful when it comes to fraud and chargeback, but also criminal activity, because a criminal or someone who's deliberately going to have a party or do something malicious will try and use fake details. They'll give a burner phone, an unregistered mobile, a fake email address. So this is great. This advanced screening allows us then to offer our SuperHog guarantee of $5 million against guest action, so damage they might cause in a property. We're able to give you that $5 million guarantee based on us doing that advanced screening. And then the third thing we do is we take over the deposit management process for our property managers. Our clients tell us they often tell us that taking a deposit is a real pain. So we built tools to make the process easier. We give the guest the choice between paying us a $500 deposit or a non-refundable fee of, say, $35, which allows them to damage anything accidentally up to the value of $500. In about 80% of the cases, the guest will choose the waiver of $35. We then remit that, minus a handling fee, to the property manager. The property manager keeps that in a bank account, and with every single booking, they take their waiver fee, and then they have their own pot of funds ready to pay for any damage when it occurs. And this is a really popular product with our clients, because it means they're unshackled when it comes to small damages. Suddenly they have the money in their account ready that they can pay out if they need to. And clearly we're creating a new revenue line for your business. Or 20% of the guests will choose the traditional deposit. That's fine. We'll hold that amount and we'll only return it to the guest once the property manager has told us that there's been no damage in the property. What you can also do is choose to just offer them the waiver or just offer them security deposit. But we think the best way of presenting this is to give the guest the option, so they can choose between waiver or deposit. And that generally leads to the best outcome. So to summarize, we're there for screening. It can either be basic screening or advanced screening, and that comes with a $5 million guarantee. And we can take over your deposit management process and create you a new revenue stream through the damage waiver. Thank you.